In this video, we'll be looking at the Magic sets that have produced the most banned or restricted cards. Cards will be evaluated based on the sets in which they were first printed. Just a note, I'll be excluding Conspiracy draft-only cards, since every Conspiracy was banned across all formats outside Limited. I'll also be excluding legends that were restricted solely for being legendary, since the original rule only allowed one copy of each legend per deck, meaning that all legends were technically restricted for a while. With that out of the way, let's dive in. In 10th place, we have a three-way tie between Cold Snap, Onslaught, and Urza's Legacy, all with 6 banned or restricted cards. Let's start with Cold Snap. Cold Snap dusted off the Ice Age block and accidentally gave Eternal formats some of the most problematic tools of the era. The headliner is Dark Depths, a snowland that looks unplayable. However, it became broken with cards that cheat off counters like Vampire Hexmage and Thespian's Stage. It's a staple in Legacy and Vintage, and banned in Modern. Rite of Flame joined Storm's arsenal, producing 2 mana for 1 and enabling turn 1 or turn 2 kills, so it was banned in Modern as well. Mishra's Bauble, a free cantrip that smooths draws and fuels Delirium, became a Modern staple in Death's Shadow and other decks. It was even preemptively banned in Historic. Commandeer acts like a control magic you can cast for free by pitching 2 blue cards, also banned in Historic. Finally, the legends Zur the Enchanter and Arkham Dagson have both been banned in Duel Commander. Next, we have Onslaught. Onslaught reshaped competitive Magic with its allied fetch lands. Polluted Delta, Flooded Strand, Bloodstained Mire, Windswept Heath, and Wooded Foothills defined Eternal formats. They enabled perfect mana bases, fueled graveyards, and shuffled for Brainstorm. They're banned in formats like Historic and Pioneer to curb mana perfection. The set also gave Commander the infamous Trade Secrets, which let 2 players collude to draw their entire decks, breaking multiplayer dynamics. Finally, Biorhythm reset life totals to creature counts, turning modest board states into sudden wins. It remains banned in Commander and Oathbreaker. Now, Urza's Legacy. Urza's Legacy continued the block's reputation for absurd mana acceleration and card advantage. Grim Monolith, a mana rock that taps for 3, combos with untap effects, and landed on the Legacy banned list and the Vintage restricted list. Tinker lets you sacrifice any artifact to put another artifact straight onto the battlefield. Fetching Memory Jar or Blightsteel Colossus made it too efficient, so it's banned in Legacy and restricted in Vintage. Memory Jar joined the emergency ban club after players realized it refueled combo decks instantly. Even in Vintage, it sits under a restriction. Commons weren't safe either. Cloud of Fairies and Frantic Search effectively played for free thanks to their untap triggers, powering Pauper combo decks until they were banned there. Lastly, Crop Rotation. Trading 1 land for any other turned it into a dangerous tutor for Gaia's Cradle, Tolarian Academy, or Dark Depths. It spent time banned in Legacy and restricted in Vintage. In 9th place, we have another tie. Darksteel, Judgment, Core Set 2020, and Tempest all produced 7 banned or restricted cards each. Darksteel threw more fuel on Mirrodin's already broken fire. The most infamous is Skullclamp. A small tweak turned it into one of the strongest draw engines ever printed. Every small creature became 2 cards. It quickly warped Standard, Extended, and Block Constructed before an emergency ban. Arcbound Ravager and Aethervial embodied artifact aggro. Ravager turned artifacts into counters at instant speed, enabling sudden lethal swings, while Vial cheated creatures into play, dodging counter magic. Both were banned in Standard, with Vial also banned in Extended. Chronosphere punished cheap spells, vicious in formats with Moxen and other zero-mana powerhouses. For this reason, it remains restricted in Vintage. Mycosynth Lattice was banned in Modern after pairing with Khan the Great Creator to lock opponents out of the game. Sundering Titan blew up multiple lands on entry and exit, banned in Commander and Oathbreaker for repetitive, unfun play. Panoptic Mirror enabled infinite combos with spells like Time Warp or Armageddon, banned in Commander for 2 decades. Even the land Darksteel Citadel was banned in Standard and Mirrodin Block Constructed. Moving on to Judgment. Judgment's Wish Cycle let players grab cards from outside the game, effectively expanding their decks. All 5 were banned in Commander for years. Test of Endurance, a win condition at 50 life, was the first card ever banned in Commander for power reasons, though it was later unbanned. World Gorger Dragon created an infamous infinite combo with Animate Dead, generating infinite mana and triggers. It was banned in Legacy and Commander for years due to its abusable loops. Next up is Core Set 2020. For a core set, M20 produced an alarming number of bans. Field of the Dead became a zombie factory that overwhelmed every matchup, banned in Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. Golos Tireless Pilgrim made ramp decks inevitable, banned in Commander for generic deck building and repetitive gameplay. Kethis the Hidden Hand enabled a graveyard combo deck too fast for Pioneer. Agents of Treachery let decks repeatedly steal permanents via Laka, earning a Standard ban. Mystic Forge gave artifact decks a nearly infinite draw engine, restricted in Vintage. Leyline of Abundance supercharged elf decks into early kills and was banned in Pioneer. Veil of Summer stopped counterspells, blanked discard, and drew you a card, earning it the nickname Green Elemental Blast. Too efficient, it was banned in Standard and Pioneer. Even Sorin Imperious Bloodlord briefly dominated Pioneer, turbocharging vampire decks. And now, Tempest. This set ushered in a new power era. Earthcraft broke tap a creature mechanics by untapping lands, often creating infinite mana. It was banned in Standard, Extended, and Legacy, as well as restricted in Vintage. Lotus Petal offered free acceleration, restricted in Vintage alongside other zero-cost mana, and it was also banned in Legacy for a while. Reanimate cheats huge creatures into play for 1 mana, banned in Historic. Cursed Scroll dominated Standard and Extended by turning empty hands into repeatable burn, banned in Tempest Block Constructed. Grindstone comboed with Painter's Servant to deck opponents instantly, banned in Commander for years. Ancient Tomb, a soul land, was banned and extended in 2003. Other offenders included Time Warp and Humility, which both distorted play patterns in Eternal formats. In 8th place, the spot is shared between Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Ikoria, and Modern Horizons 2, each of which had 8 banned or restricted cards. We'll look at Arabian Nights first. Magic's first expansion was a mix of iconic designs and problematic oddities. Library of Alexandria is one of the strongest lands ever printed, letting players draw extra cards just by keeping a full hand. It's banned in Legacy and restricted in Vintage. Bazaar of Baghdad, initially seen as a drawback land, became essential for dredge decks, restricted in Vintage. Some cards were banned for unfun gameplay. Shahrazad forced players to play sub-games, dragging tournaments to absurd lengths. Similarly, Jeweled Bird was removed alongside the entirety of the anti-mechanic. Other cards were banned for cultural or sensitivity reasons. Jihad and Stone-Throwing Devils fell into that category. Meanwhile, cards like Ali from Cairo, Serendib Efreet, Ruck Egg, and even Curd Ape influenced early competitive play, though most are remembered more as historical curiosities today. Next on the list is Antiquities. This set was artifact heavy and birthed several of Magic's most infamous cards. Mishra's Workshop taps for 3 mana, usable only on artifacts, but in artifact heavy decks that restriction was meaningless. It's restricted in Vintage and banned elsewhere. Strip Mine destroyed lands, reducing games to attrition. It was banned or restricted across formats, paving the way for Wasteland as a fixed version of it. Candelabra of Tornos became a combo engine with lands like Cloudpost, restricted in Vintage. Ivory Tower and Felden's Cane were both restricted early on for giving control decks unfair longevity. Bronze Tablet disappeared with Ante. Urkel's Recall was restricted in Vintage and banned in Legacy for powering artifact combo strategies. Even Atog was banned in Pauper for enabling affinity kills. Next, Ikoria. Ikoria is remembered as the companion set. Lurrus of the Dream Den was so strong it was banned in Legacy, Vintage, and Pioneer within weeks. Zerda the Dawnwaker enabled infinite mana with Grim Monolith, banned in Legacy. Yorion Sky Nomad warped Modern with Flicker Loops, banned in that format. Gigantha the Wellspring was also banned in Modern, even after the nerf to the companion mechanic. Lutri the Spellchaser was preemptively banned in Commander before release, since it slotted for free into every blue-red deck. Outside companions, Winota Joiner of Forces ended games too quickly in Historic and Brawl. Drannith Magistrate was also banned in Brawl for shutting off commanders entirely. And the last of the 8th place slots is occupied by Modern Horizons 2. MH2 introduced several cards too strong for even the most competitive formats. Chatterstorm made Pauper Storm unbeatable by flooding the board with squirrels, quickly banned. Sojourner's Companion gave Pauper Affinity another free 4/4 and was also banned. Galvanic Relay provided Storm decks a new engine in that format and met the same fate. The Evoke Elementals reshaped Eternal Play 2. Grief plus Ephemerate stripped hands on turn 1, while Fury wiped creature decks. Ragavan Nimble Pilferer became the poster child of the set, a 1-drop that stole cards and made treasure. It was banned in Legacy for being too efficient, and is still strong in Modern. Finally, Urza's Saga became a Modern staple by generating constructs and tutoring for artifacts. This made it too strong for Vintage, where it is restricted. In 7th place, we have Ice Age, Mirrodin, and Zendikar, at 9 cards each. Ice Age mixed innovation with excess. The star is Necropotence, one of the most infamous draw engines ever. For 3 mana, it let players refill their hand at the cost of life. It's banned in Legacy and restricted in Vintage. Demonic Consultation is a 1-mana instant tutor. Once paired with Thassa's Oracle, it became a near-instant win in Commander and Legacy. Brainstorm may be Magic's most polarizing cantrip. It's banned in Pauper, restricted in Vintage, and still defines Legacy. Zurin Orb, a free sacrifice outlet for lands, locked aggro decks out of games. It was banned in Standard and Legacy and restricted in Vintage. Other oddities like General Jarkeld, Martin Stromguld, Mariki Reberet, and Skeleton Ship were banned or restricted in niche formats, often due to strange rules interactions. Lastly, Amulet of Quaz disappeared with Ante. The next contender is Mirrodin. Few sets caused as much chaos as this one. The artifact lands supercharged Affinity by functioning as both mana sources and cost reducers. All 5 were banned in Standard and Modern. Disciple of the Vault was the deck's linchpin, turning sacrifices into direct life loss, earning bans in Standard, Extended, and Pauper. Chrome Mox, meanwhile, provided free acceleration, restricted in Vintage and banned in Modern. Chalice of the Void could shut entire decks out of the game on turn 1, restricted in Vintage. Second Sunrise powered the Eggs deck, which dragged out tournaments with endless loops. It was banned in Modern for wasting time as much as for power. Seething Song sped up storm kills to turn 3 consistency, banned in Modern. Thirst for Knowledge was restricted in Vintage. Tooth and Nail is banned in Brawl. Finally, Cloudpost fueled the famous 12-post mana ramp deck, banned in Modern and Pauper. From there, we move on to Zendikar. This land-focused set completed the enemy fetch land cycle, all banned in Pioneer. Valakut the Molten Pinnacle became a combo finisher with Primeval Titan and Scapeshift, earning a spot on Modern's original ban list. Expedition Map seems harmless, but consistently tutored up lands like Tron Pieces or Dark Depths, leading to its ban in Pauper for a while. Iona Shield of Emeria was banned in Commander for locking players out of casting spells of a chosen color. Punishing Fire plus Grove of the Burn Willows created a recursive damage loop, banned in Modern. Even Spreading Seas was banned in Historic for crippling multicolor mana bases. In 6th place, we have just a single expansion, Throne of Eldraine, with 10 cards banned or restricted. If Urza's Saga gave us Combo Winter, Throne of Eldraine gave us Standards Dark Age. The worst offender was Oko, Thief of Crowns. Nearly every competitive deck ran him, and even in Modern and Legacy he proved oppressive. He was banned in Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Historic, Brawl, and Legacy, an almost unprecedented sweep. Once Upon a Time was another disaster, a free spell that gave green decks perfect consistency. It was banned in Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. Fires of Invention let control combo decks cast multiple Haymakers per turn for free, banned in Standard and Historic. Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven created the infamous Cat Oven deck, which drained opponents while stalling endlessly. Familiar was banned in Standard. Adventure cards didn't escape either. Lucky Clover doubled adventure spells, and Escape to the Wilds was a draw 5 powerhouse. Both were banned in Standard. Even Mystic Sanctuary caused trouble, enabling recursion loops, and was banned in Pauper and Modern. Finally, All That Glitters was banned in Pauper for making lightning-fast kills with cheap artifacts and enchantments. In 5th place, it's Modern Horizons 3, at 12 cards. By the time Modern Horizons 3 arrived, players expected power creep, yet it still overshot. The headline was Nadu Winged Wisdom, which turned cheap targeting effects into card draw and land ramp. Paired with cards like Shuko, it created infinite loops, forcing a Modern ban after just 73 days. Amped Raptor also fell quickly due to its role in Boros energy decks in Modern. In Pauper, Cranial Ram was preemptively banned to prevent another era of affinity dominance, while Basking Broodscale formed a consistent infinite combo with Sadistic Glee, and was banned within a year. Legacy suffered too. Psychic Frog slotted cleanly into Reanimator, reducing deck diversity, and was banned after 6 months. Sowing Mycospawn ramped too efficiently, and also preyed on your opponent's lands, until it was banned in Legacy as well. Several Hate and Prison pieces also raised alarms. Vexing Bauble, essentially a 1-mana Chalice of the Void, was restricted in Vintage. Finally, the cycle of Flares, along with Disruptor Flute, Winter Moon, and Harbinger of the Seas, were banned in Historic for being too oppressive. Claiming 4th place is Urza's Saga, 14 cards banned or restricted. Urza's Saga kicked off Combo Winter, when games often ended by turn 2 or even 1. The legendary lands were the biggest culprits. Tolarian Academy generated absurd mana, restricted in Vintage and banned elsewhere. Gaia's Cradle and Serra's Sanctum were similarly explosive, and banned in Block Constructed. Yawgmoth's Will let decks replay their entire graveyard. banned in Legacy and restricted in Vintage. Time Spiral acted like a free time twister that also untapped 6 lands, while Windfall drew tons of cards, and Stroke of Genius could be a lethal sink for the deck's copious mana. Cheating creatures into play proved equally busted. Show and Tell enabled Emrakul and Omniscience, banned in Historic. Sneak Attack joined it there. Goblin Lackey, which cheated out free goblins, was banned in Extended. Voltaic Key combined with Grim Monolith for infinite mana, restricted in Vintage and once banned in Legacy. Other offenders included Fluctuator, banned in Standard for cycling abuse, and Back to Basics, which is banned in Dual Commander. Even Peregrine Drake, later downgraded to Common, was banned in Pauper for infinite mana combos with Ghostly Flicker. Legends takes 3rd place with 17 cards. Legends produced bans and restrictions for reasons ranging from raw power to sheer logistical chaos. Some cards disappeared for cultural or sensitivity reasons, such as Cleanse, Pradesh Gypsies, and Invoke Prejudice. Divine Intervention was banned because it forced draws, stalling tournaments. On the power side, Mana Drain converted counter magic into ramp, and Land Tax plus Sylvan Library gave overwhelming consistency. Mirror Universe swung games with a single activation, and Moat locked creature decks out of combat entirely. Sword of the Ages and Recall were both restricted in Vintage temporarily, with Recall also briefly banned in Legacy. Finally, Karakas is banned in Commander, where bouncing commanders repeatedly proved oppressive. In 2nd place, it's Alpha, at 39 cards. Magic's first set was both iconic and full of mistakes. I won't discuss every single banned card from this set, as there are simply too many. The most infamous are the Power 9, Black Lotus, the 5 Moxen, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and Time Twister, all restricted in Vintage and banned elsewhere. Other cards weren't far behind. Channel plus Fireball made Magic's first combo kill. Balance wiped creatures, lands, and hands for 2 mana. Mind Twist stripped entire hands. Fast Bond turned early land drops into absurd ramp. Sol Ring and Mana Vault powered out threats far ahead of curve. Winter Orb and Icy Manipulator created prison decks. Even Juggernaut and Copy Artifact were overpowered for 1993. Alpha also introduced anti-cards like Contract from Below and Demonic Attorney, later banned entirely. Contract from Below in particular is incredibly powerful. Once again, some cards were banned for sensitivity or rules confusion. Crusade was removed for cultural reasons, and Chaos Orb required dexterity flips. Even some commons were too strong. Lightning Bolt and Counterspell are banned in Historic. Sinkhole is banned in Pauper because it demolished mana bases for 2 mana. Hypnotic Spectre later saw a ban in Extended, and Black Vice spent some time on both the Legacy ban list and the Vintage restricted list. Finally, in 1st place, it's Unfinity, with 76 cards banned or restricted. When Unfinity released, most of its cards were technically legal in sanctioned play, since Wizards wanted them to be usable in Commander. But WotC didn't anticipate that cards like Namesticker Goblin would cause competitive headaches. Players running the Goblin had to bring full sticker decks in order to use it properly, and even those not running it felt compelled to carry these sticker decks in case of cloning effects. The attractions mechanic created similar logistical problems. Games stalled under piles of side decks, rolling dice, and off-board mechanics. To simplify things, Wizards banned all Unfinity sticker and attraction cards from every format except Commander. That removed a staggering 76 cards at once, giving Unfinity the record for the Magic set with the most bans and restrictions. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and consider joining my Patreon.